last episode, we sailed across the Java Sea from Lombok to Borneo. As we were sailing, we got caught in an unexpected and nasty storm. In this episode, we take our boat up the river in Borneo because we want to join a trip that will take us further into the forest to find orangutans in the wild. So this is kind of like the port where you get the boats sometimes for some of the tours, and I suppose it's like the tourist office for the orangutan tours, and this is the main street. Let me show you.
Hi, I'm Rini from Sister Tour.
So that is Rini, one of the sisters from Sister Tours. It's run by Rini and Nina, and they are so helpful. They helped with so many things, not just the tour, but you know what us boaties are like. We need to do so many things when we get to a port, and they helped us out with everything. So, you know, amazing company and amazing sisters.
So this is Kumai, and it's about 4:20 in the morning, and the call to prayer is so loud. It started at 4 in the morning and woke me up, and it's still going on now. And there's about 5 or 6 mosques all competing to see who could be the loudest. It's a nightmare. This is like the second night running where I'm just getting no sleep because of it. So I don't know what I'm going to be like in the morning.
The mosques have all just started like moaning at each other.
In the morning, Sister Tours arranged for someone to keep an eye on our boat for the next few days while we got picked up on a powerboat and we headed across to the Klotok, which is a traditional Indonesian riverboat. So we've just arrived on the boat that we're going to go on this river tour. Everyone seems really nice. We're going to introduce all the staff later, but it's very noisy because we're right next to one of those places where the birds' nests are being produced, I believe. So it's really noisy. What it feels like so far, Ewan?
It's amazing. Look, see these mattresses? We're going to be sleeping on them and they're so comfy. They're amazing. And it's going to be so fun not having to do anything, just sitting down and relaxing.
Yeah, because Ewan's really busy all the time cooking. And
No, I was just saying.
But yeah, it's quite comfy. It might even be more comfy than our own beds.
Hello, my name's Teddy and I work as a tour guide in Tanjung Puting National Park. I've been doing it for 11 years now. Before that, I worked in the organization of the orangutan as well. I was grown up as a child close to nature, and I always loved nature, like jungle especially. And on the boat we have 1 captain, 2 deckhand, 1 chef. Yeah, the deckhands, they helping the captain, but also they helping the chef as well, organize the boat, make sure everything runs smoothly on the boat.
It turns out the crew always seem to be busy sorting something out for the expedition. But before we get into the details of our trip, let's find out a little bit more about these mysterious bird's nest soup. Another thing about this place is that there are factories here that are producing the bird's nest for the bird's nest soup that people eat in China.
The coast here has to be one of the most bizarre industrial complexes we've ever been to. It's actually loads of concrete buildings with tiny holes in them, and what it is to attract the small swifts or sparrows. I can't remember what they are.
The swifts, the birds, they live in the cave and they nesting. They build their nest with their saliva.
The birds actually stick tiny pieces of grass and twigs together with their spit. And this is a delicacy in Asia, and particularly in China, where they extract that spit from the nest and then they mix it into soup and they make bird nest soup out of it. But to get that, to harvest the actual spit, they encourage the birds to nest in these buildings along here, and they go all the way along the coast.
Well, the people build the building, and inside lots of floor and then a wooden beam.
Yeah.
And the speaker, they attract the birds to enter, and they're hoping to nesting inside. After they laying eggs and hatch the eggs, they left the nest, and the owner they're collecting the nest.
There's a couple of boats up here stacking sort of very light white packages, which we presume is the bird spit about to be exported out of here. And that is your bird nest soup manufacturing base.
And do they sort of build them like next to the river so that they can ship them out straight away?
Because the birds are normally around water.
Okay.
So
That's why they're
by
here.
the river, yeah.
Okay.
The next they sell it to China, Singapore, Malaysia. That's the market.
Okay.
I think at the moment around $1,000 per kilo.
It's quite a big business then here, really. It's big part of the economy here.
Well, for some people, because it costs lots of money to build one, and it's no guarantee the bird will come in.
Yeah.
I heard some of the building they can harvest a year like a few tons, but some like none.
Yeah.
Some of them they can reach up to 10 kilos. Some like 3 months, like 1 kilo or less than 1 kilo.
Right.
So it depends on their buildings as well, their sound system, their environment inside.
Before we got underway, Denny did a quick brief about where we were going in the Tanjung Puting National Park. We got onto the boat about in the morning, and we headed into the river, the Sekenyong River. Probably said that wrong. And we headed up for a couple of hours. We arrived at the first feeding station. Before we got to the feeding station, the crew organised a delicious lunch, and we kept our eyes peeled for any wildlife along the way. We spotted a few proboscis monkeys in the trees, otherwise known as Dutch monkeys because of their huge noses. So in the middle of the river there's this whole island that started floating, and so it's using up the middle of the whole river. Oh my god, that's crazy. We learned that these reeds were invasive species of plant that were rapidly spreading out along the riverbanks. At the first feeding station, we went to the visitor centre, it's quite interesting, and then trekked about an hour into the forest, and we got to the feeding station. It turns out there were not only monkeys that liked hanging out in the trees. So this is wild orchids here. When we got to the feeding station, we had to be very quiet and very patient to see if any orangutans would come down and join us. At the feeding station, the people that work in the park brought a couple of great big loads of bananas and put them down on the platform, and the first one to come along was this huge great big alpha male orangutan, which he's loving it. And then slowly these other orangutans kind of joined in, and a mother came with a baby, and then a few more kind of, sidled down and, had a good feed. But I think the thing is that they don't come unless they're hungry, because some of them have been rehabilitated, and that's why they're coming back a little bit to get food. But if there's plenty of food in the forest, then they won't bother coming to get fed, but they just keep it going just in case. After watching the orangutans for a good while, we hiked back to our expedition boat. But on the way back, we encountered a couple of stray teenage orangutans. They didn't seem too bothered by us, so we just carried on back to the boat.
Do you want to say anything?
Like what? Like, don't swim here because there's crocodiles. While we were moored up, the next plan was to go and see the weird and wonderful things that came out at night in the forest. Bloody fire ants. But we did a slow loris. I've never ever seen one of them before.
I didn't see it.
Oh, we've got some pictures on the camera.
Those are not solenopsis, these aren't fire ants, Dad. These are some kind of army ant, they're way more painful.
That's so huge, that is unbelievable. Oh god, that is massive.
If I get bitten by those, kill me.
I mean, it's big and it's big. That is...
That's like a monster. That's not even an ant anymore. Where is it? I got it.
Wow.
Nice.
After our night adventures, we headed back to our klotok and thoroughly cleaned our shoes off. And then we carried on for just another 15 minutes up the river, and we moored up, and we've moored up along the river like lots of other little boats. And time for dinner on the top deck under the stars.
Orangutan, a massive male orangutan.
So yeah, we woke up this morning and we've actually got, just next to us, moored here, there's a massive male orangutan in the trees just sitting there. It's just incredible. Painted on the wall. So there's this whole mound of grass that's just floated down. I don't know how they're going to get through. So they've got this kind of, the smallest boat on the river is trying to push this huge mound of grass so this invasive grass is everywhere now, and it's just expanding out, and you find these floating islands coming down, and you have to kind of get your way through them. He's put his full power on and he's just trying to get it out of the way. And it is kind of moving, but the whole thing is moving. He said that sometimes they actually have to get in the water and push it out the way, but that's only the last scenario because there are obviously crocodiles living in these waters. We found out that on one side of the river it was mainly farmland. The majority of the rainforest had now been cut down in order to concentrate on growing crops and trees for palm oil. The problem is that there is a huge runoff of fertiliser from these farms into the river. The fertiliser is nourishing the riverbed reeds to an unnatural level. So this excessive growth is blocking up the river. Just a whisper of steam on the crest of a dream while I walk in the dark. You're a memory now.
It doesn't seem like the park authorities have got any kind of coordinated way of tackling it, and the only way that the boats are doing it is just by ramming the way through. But he said it's only developed over the last 10 years, and it's not just in one area, it's all the way up the river. Okay, so it's got quite busy here now. There's been quite a backlog of people now catching up at this point of grass that's in the middle and causing a few problems, but I think finally that little boat there has finally freed it so that everyone can get through. Which one do you like, Ewan? Tell me which boat you like.
That one over there.
Why?
I don't know, it just looks modern. It looks like you could actually go sailing on the ocean. If I could buy one, that would be the one I would buy.
It's lopsided, all these boats, pretty much all of them are just tilted, listed to one side, because they're just so tall and thin.
This looks amazing. definitely way better than the things we have on our boat. No offense, Mum. Love you.
After breakfast, our lovely breakfast of some eggs and toast and some sort of like little pancakey things, we have set sail. No, we haven't really set sail. We haven't picked up the anchor either. We've just pulled our ropes off these sort of reeds that they tie onto, and we are carrying on upriver for about an hour and a half to get to the next feeding grounds, or where we might see orangutans in the wild. So as we are just cruising through this river, the river is getting narrower for a start, but every time you look around you find something up in the trees, and like we just seen this bird, the yellow bird with a long red beak, and in the trees just a bit further we just saw like another orangutan, and basically it feels like there's probably stuff everywhere just kind of watching you, and sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't, but it's amazing just to be, you know, deep in this forest, just surrounded by this amazing kind of wild nature.
Orangutan use the land to build nests and like foraging for food, and apparently they are the largest living animals in the world. They usually eat fruit, but they can also eat like bark strips and leaves, and sometimes even termites. And unlike other primates, they're solitary like most of their lives. Another thing, orangutans are only found in like tropical rainforests in like Sumatra and Borneo, so they're quite a tropical species. Young orangutans stay with their mother until like 5 or 8 years of age, which I think is quite long for compared to other animals, and they can live for quite long, well, like 45 to 50 years in the wild. And unlike orangutans are pregnant for 8 months and may wait 5 to 10 years between births.
So we're at the second feeding station further up the river. We've had a mother come up, and she's got 2 babies, which is unusual. It doesn't usually happen in the wild anyway. And the point of these kind of feeding stations is they don't give them too much food to become reliant. And they are obviously free to go into the wild, and many of them do disappear. In fact, they said they've reported in some feeding stations that the orangutans have actually left the area for good. So it seems to be like a program that's working really well. There's lots of babies around here as well, which is fantastic because they are notoriously slow breeders, the orangutans.
Right now these orangutans are feeding on bananas. Chances of seeing orangutans vary throughout the year. It is fruiting season in the forest. Orangutans are less likely to feed and visit the feeding station because they can find food throughout the park. Uncontrolled wildfires in the area may cause orangutans to seek food in other parts of the forest. Orangutans also tend to avoid the smoke haze from fires. A sighting of even one orangutan in the wild is a memory to treasure.
So we've taken a bit of a detour through the back ways to see if we can see any more Borneo jungle animals.
So this is a part of a termite nest, and it's all broken in there. And what the orangutans have done is they've basically opened it up to eat it as a protein source. They've eaten the termites as a protein source. So these are pitcher plants, and they eat by like insects on the outside, falling into it. And if you feel the outside, it's very slippery and like kind of, because it's all convex in, so very easy to fall in. It's like gills almost.
Looks like eggs from an insect that like laid them.
That's how they form it.
Right, where's the one that's really protected?
Say again?
We needed to get back to our Clotok in order to reach the furthest research station, Camp Leakey. Despite being more aware of the biodiversity that surrounded us, we were not expecting the next exciting encounter.
We're just passing a troop of proboscis monkeys that are feeding in the grass here. There's another endangered species around here. They only really sort of exist in Borneo and only a mile inland from the rivers. It's a real privilege to see them in the wild like this. They only live for about 20 years as well.
Okay, so we just came down the next river now, turned off to the right towards Camp Leakey, and the river changes colour because Derry was saying it was because in the other river they used to have the gold mines there, and while they were digging up for the gold, obviously all the silt just washed down and turned the river really muddy, and even though they don't do any gold mining now, it still has those silty rivers. Also, the grass doesn't like this kind of water, this natural water, so the grass doesn't grow here. So you can see where the problem came. If you're gold mining and you've got all that silty sort of mud coming down, you've got that grass growing that's not natural and causing a real problem with blocking the river. But if you leave it in its natural state, you've got this river and you haven't got that invasive species like blocking up the river. So if you leave nature to itself, probably the moral of that story, everything would be fine. Okay, so I think this is what you might call a traffic jam in the Borneo jungle. Camp Leakey was established in 1971 by Dr. Birut Galdikas and Rod Brindamore. Galdikas was encouraged to study wild orangutans by the late paleoanthropologist Dr. Louis Leakey, who also mentored Jane Goodall, you may have heard of her, and the late Diane Fossey in their respective studies of chimpanzees and mountain gorillas. Camp Leakey is the site of the longest continuous study by one principal investigator of any wild, non-human animal in the history of science. Dr. Galdikas and associates have logged over 100,000 hours of observation on focal wild orangutans in the 50-kilometre square study area associated with the camp. So if you visit Camp Leakey midday, there will only be 1 or 2 people present because most of the staff and students, including Dr. Galdikas herself, spend the day in the forest searching for and observing wild orangutans, as well as documenting forest ecology. Okay, so we're heading back now from Camp Leakey, and we've got more of these issues with floating islands that are getting in the way, but everyone seems to be working together as a team, these boats, and trying to get us all through. So it is, what time is it? Nearly 6 in the morning, and the forest kind of comes alive. So all the proboscis monkeys, they tend to hang out in the trees, and in the morning they slowly come, well not slowly, sometimes they jump and sometimes they climb down the tree and start the day of trying to hunt for food again. The transformation in the morning. This is Daddy.
Hello, good morning.
Our amazing guide.
Mom's got a bit of shade now.
We should make a little roof out of these leaves. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, that's what the locals do.
There's a crocodile just over there. It's a bit scary actually.
So we were just coming around the corner and we have saltwater crocodiles dead ahead, big ones as well. How long do you reckon it is, Daddy? How long? How long? What length?
3 meters, I think the biggest one.
Yeah.
About 3 meters, like the smaller one.
About 3 meters, the biggest one. So this trip's been really spectacular. We've seen gibbons in the wild, macaques, proboscis monkeys, orangutans obviously, and saltwater crocodiles. So we're heading on. We've pulled up anchor with a little bit of difficulty. We had a few problems, but anyway, it's up now and we're off.
So I have seen so many barges going along this river full of sand and different types of soil, like the one we saw on the way here, but they seem to be shipping masses of soil and sand and whatever it is that they're shipping out from the jungle in Borneo to somewhere.
So river sand is very highly prized in the building industry and there's a big worldwide shortage of it, so the value of it is quite high. And you can see the banks here with the barges waiting to kind of ship it out. Also wood chip here, which is a massive industry as well, and also the palm oil industry, which is another big industry. All in all, these add up to massive habitat loss for the animals. I mean, the tourist industry here is like minute compared to all these other industries put together. A lot of foreign investment in those industries as well. So people expecting a return on those investments. It doesn't bode well really for the wildlife in Borneo at all. I don't think the ecology sector is making that much of a dent on these industries, and certainly not curtailing them in any way. So it's sad to say. It makes you wonder. You know, I remember Douglas Adams once wrote a book called Last Chance to See, and you do kind of get that feeling that it is a last chance to see a lot of these animals in the wild.
So stay tuned for more adventures as we sail around the world. If you want to find out how to fix your boat, go to our Mothership Maintenance channel, and you've got any questions you want to ask us, join our Patreon family.
And me, we're family, sing